Okay, that's good. And we are back. Now, how is my audio? Am I in sync? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? All right, video's up. Beautiful. Well, the thing is, Elgato products are annoying me. Now, my internal capture card, I have a 4K 60 capture card from them, PCIe. That was working great, man. And then I updated it, and now it no longer works with my camera. My camera's fine. I plug my camera directly into my monitor. It's beautiful. So I got a Camlink 4K. Okay, I mean, I even tried before everyone thinks I just gave up on the 4K 60 capture card. I uninstalled the drivers. I reinstalled them. I did everything I could do. Updated it to the teeth. Nothing. So I'm like, fine, whatever. I didn't even realize they had a 4K Camlink. So I was at Best Buy. I'm like, hey, could you match the price of Amazon? Yes, we can, especially now because Amazon, charges tax. Beautiful. Okay, sweet. So 4K capture card was working good for a while, and then now I'm reading that you need to buy one of those PCIe USB 3.0 hubs to make it work properly so it doesn't freeze. So I'm gambling right now that this won't freeze. The one and only W, thank you for a super chat. Rich, you should let me stream with you so I can divide the chat right in two with my political opinions. Yes, that's brilliant, Wyatt. Thank you for the super chat. Yep, you're in Blood Moon Bobby. Yep, you're in sync. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. You feel like Will Smith. So, I'll show you guys the build. I showed it today in a video, kind of. Oh, that's the other keyboard for it. I should put this back in here because I need to bring this back down. So that doesn't get lost. Really? This should not be this challenging. Oh, derp. They have a holder for it right here. There we go. Now it'll be snug in there. Anyway. So, $667, I think, after tax roundabout. But here it is. Love the build, despise the case. I don't really get trolls on my other YouTube channel. I do have an M Classic. I got to start. Yesterday, this was like a 13-hour day filming, not just the build, but between filming the build. Well, let me put you in on the. Matthew East was just here the other day, man. The case maker on this case. So here I'm looking. It's a Roswell case. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, it has 1,700 and like change reviews, has 4 stars out of 5. How bad can this case be? I'm just doing a basic budget build, not doing any overclocking. I don't even know, like, okay, let's begin. So, and I'll get to the super chats in a second. So we go to build. We go to put the motherboard in, and there's standoffs that keep the motherboard from shorting out against the metal of the case. A micro ATX motherboard has 8. This only came with 6 standoffs. So, I mean, you could kind of get away with that temporarily, but if I'm doing a video, I'm not going to half-ass it. So we had to go look for standoffs. So we try Best Buy. Like, we know they're not going to sell them there, but we usually have decent experiences at the Best Buy near me. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, these guys fix computers. They have to have motherboard standoffs. Look, I'll pay him like $5, whatever, just to like give me a couple standoffs to save me the headache. The guy didn't even know what they were. Like, how are you a technician? How are you a technician? You don't know what a standoff for a motherboard is. Like, I understand that besides gaming PCs, gaming desktop PCs, like the desktop PC market is all but dead because grandma and grandpa are buying iPads. They're not buying these to go surf the web anymore. But you had to have had some PC in there where they've had to change the motherboard. It amazes me that they made this person. Factually they couldn't have changed the motherboard. How could you change a motherboard if you don't know what a standoff is? Oh, that scares me. But anyway, so he's looking at it like I could have held up a purple dildo and he would have been less shocked by what I was holding. He's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a standoff for a motherboard to keep it from shorting." Like, you can't tell me you haven't worked on. Well, actually, you probably can tell me. It's 2019. He hasn't worked on a desktop. So he's like, "I think one of the guys in the blue shirts." Maybe they'll know where we sell them. Like, no, you don't sell them. You're not Radio Shack. You wouldn't sell things like this. You would have them in your back work, like the back where Geek Squad is, if you do have them. So they, of course, so I'm like, all right, fine, go ask them. And the film guy I was with, we were both like, you're not going to have them on the floor, but go ask. Surprisingly, he didn't have them on the floor. And he's like, what is it called again? I'm like, it's called a standoff. He's like, can I have it? Can I show my manager? Sure. I hope to God your manager knows what a standoff is. He didn't know what a standoff was. So we try. The fuck else did I try? I tried Home Depot. Like, that was just a crapshoot because it was close to me. I called some mom and pop computer shops. They didn't have them. They didn't even have them. They didn't even pick up the phone. Because it's like Al's computer service where he fixes one computer a month and he says he's a business, but he's really not. So in the end, what it ended up being is that my dad ended up having some. So we got those two standoffs now because I'm like, I'm not going to build this. Like, you don't not put standoffs in. I mean, I guess temporarily, if you're really in a pinch and you need to build the computer, you could. But I'm not going to show a video of me building a computer and I don't put all the standoffs in. I'm not going to do it. So I finally get them so we could put the motherboard in. But the nice thing is that what I did was what you should do is I hooked up the power supply, hooked up, plopped the GPU on real quick. I obviously got the CPU mounted in there. You should always put the CPU in before you put it in the case and put the cooler on, the Wraith cooler on, and I made sure it posted. Posted, cool. So what else happened with this case? So what they do, it's a good idea what they do here, but it's bad execution. I'll lay it on its side. I don't know if you could see, like, here, what they do is they have like a flap that you screw on the 2.5 and 3.5 inch drives. They actually, now the 3.5 inch drive was down here. Okay, here's the problem with that. It blocks the graphics card. It hits into the graphics card. And there was grommets that we had that were holding it in when you screwed in. So we had to take the grommets out and swap where the 3.5 inch drive was, the fatter drive, and put the SSD here so we could put the RX 580 in there. Why would you do that? Then, on top of it with this case, see in the back where the metal is a little bent? That's not damage. What that is, it has the breakout for where you're putting in PCI Express peripherals. You don't unscrew them and you pull them out. They're like breakouts. They're like literally like as soft as chewing gum. So you have to like pull them and bend them out and it didn't come. The case didn't come with screws to screw in the graphics card. Luckily, I had those laying around. But luckily, I had self-tapping screws, because you need self-tapping screws, which make their own threads to screw the GPU down. And what else? Then on top of it, it gets better. I'll go into the parts in a second. Just have to talk about how disastrous of a case this is. So, okay, so you could put a fan here, right? Because let me tell you something. With Ada 64. There's only one 80 millimeter fan in the back of this thing, but it said you could add a 120 millimeter fan. Okay, cool. So this thing will be all right. Well, since how the dumbasses designed the hard drives to be in here, even this fan, which is relatively thin, bumps into the mechanical drive. Can't put the fan in. So I mean, it's fine. I had Ada 64 running for 10 hours. And it's rock solid, it's stable, but with Ada 64, it could get the CPU even at stock speeds gets toasty. It's an R5 2600. You could get up to like 86, 87 degrees in Ada 64. I know it's, I didn't get to. I mean the where it'll start throttling, I believe, is 95 Celsius, and it never got there, so it's still fine. But I'm like, all right, I'll add a 120 millimeter fan. I can't do it. I'm hoping I got a super slim profile Noctua fan coming that'll fit there. Because getting more air out of here, well, I'll probably get like 5 degrees off at least on the temperature. But whatever, So that's another. What else is there? And the USB 3 port that's here doesn't work properly. Now there's two arguments you can make. You could say one that I screwed up. It either is going to work or it doesn't. Because here's the thing: when you plug in a USB 3 header for the front USB 3 ports on a motherboard, it's keyed only one way. You can't screw it up. It has a notch. You plug it in. You hear a click. You're good to go. It corrupted my 4 terabyte external SSD that I had to reformat it. Thank God I had the footage already uploaded for the PC video to the cloud, to Google Drive. And it gets only like 50 megabytes a second read and write. It's USB 3. Plug the USB 3 in. So this case, shit is a compliment for it. Shit is a compliment. It's a bad case. I don't know how this has 4.5. I don't know how it has 4 stars. I'll link it just so you can see I'm not bullshitting. Where's my keyboard? Okay, so specs. We'll go into those now. I'll get my Amazon list up so I don't screw up any of them. So like the one USB 3 port that it has for the front, and I'm thinking, all right, it's a cheap case, but it has great reviews for it. I mean, here, where is it? Hold on. Here it is. Where is, yeah, it's in stock. Everyone run and get one right now. Please don't. Why does share? There we go. Let's share. I don't know why it has share. No. Can I just copy the damn link? Oh my God. Really? Just let me copy the link. Anyway, here, hold on. Don't give me a referral. No, I don't want to give him a referral. I don't want to make money off of people on this stupid ass thing. All right, here it is. I got to go to my Twitter now. People are going to think I'm recommending this case with a referral link. But that's not what I'm doing. What's up, Ashley and Lance? But anyway, here, boom. Don't buy that case. Unless you want to punish yourself, don't buy that case. But anyway, other specs. So besides the case, this is actually a really damn good build. Okay. It has a Ryzen 5 2600, which not in this case, but if you wanted to, you could easily overclock it to get 2600X performance. But even in Cinebench, you're getting 1250 on Cinebench R15 for the score for multi-threaded performance. For a $660 build, that's fine. You could do 4K video editing, the whole nine. That you're good. It's a Sapphire Radeon Pulse RX 580, 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 for the graphics card. MSI Arsenal Gaming AMD B54M Bazooka V2 motherboard. The SSD is 128 gigabyte Kingston. That's just for the operating system. 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance. LPX 16 gigabyte, 2 sticks of 8 gigs of RAM, running at 3000 megahertz. And yes, I made sure to tighten up the timings in the BIOS and the RAM. So it's running at 3000 megahertz with the correct RAM timings. So that definitely helps out, because especially with Zen Plus and before, the faster the RAM is, the more benefit you get out of the processor. The storage drive is a 2 terabyte C8 Barracuda drive, 7200 RPMs. And the power supply, which everyone thought was going to make the machine explode, but it's running great, is a Thermaltake Smart 600 watt ATX power supply, which is 80 plus certified. So build is great. I mean, I like the look of the case. Case looks good. It's about it. But whatever. I mean, what I may do is like jerry rig an 80 millimeter fan here just to pull more air out. Yeah, I'm going to probably recommend something like that. Or even like this Thermaltake Versa H17, which has 4.5 stars. Is that a micro ATX? Yeah, micro ATX. Yep. Has USB 3 right on the top. Yeah. I'll probably recommend this one, because I can't in good faith tell people to get this case. I mean, I built it. It's all right. Rich, do custom water loops on stream? No. No, Matthew East did not die when Wyatt, but thank you though. 4K thickness, rich Ultra HD goodness. Thank you very much, Leo. I want a device between my iPhone and Galaxy, a good iPhone and gaming desktop rig. Should I get an iPad Pro or a Surface Pro? I don't know if any. No, I don't think. I mean, I can't say the Switch. The Switch actually, honestly, if it had some kind of productivity capabilities, would be your best bet for something like that. But I don't know. I mean, the iPad has a lot of versatility to it now, especially the Pro that I have here. But I don't know if it's at the point yet. Excuse me. I don't know if it's at the point yet that I consider it a true gaming laptop replacement. Wyatt, Rich, remember the Zyborg? No, I do not. Wyatt, please dox Ralph. No. I remember his information anyway. You're going back 13 years now, man. So, anyway, like I said, so far with this has been impressive though. Not a fan of how warm it gets with IDA 64 running, but like I said, I had it running for 10 hours as stable, but I'm not happy with 86, 87 degrees Celsius being where it gets to. Like I said, I'll probably jerry rig a little 80 millimeter fan here just to get some more air out, because stupidly they put the hard drives right there, so you can't, like, how did it, like, I'm hoping, unless this I'm assuming this one I'm getting from Noxua is thin enough. It's thin enough it could just go above there, and that'll be nice because it'll suck more air out. But it's stable, it's good, everything's running great. Just pissed off that, I mean, I have a USB-C hub I could put right on, or USB 3 hub I could put on top, but the one USB 3 port doesn't work right. Now, that could be the motherboard too, but with everything else this case had issues with, I'm going to place bets it's the cable they have running from the motherboard to this 3.0, the one 3.0 header it has. Taylor, oh my God. Hey Rich, been a quiet fan since the motorboating Oprah video. You're back when I was trying to do COD commentaries. Oh God. Such an embarrassing time, but thank you for being around that long. I always turn on your vids when I need a quick pick-me-up. Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate that, man. That's crazy. You've been around for about 9 years, dude. Or 8 or 9 years. Wyatt, Rich, I'll buy your modded Genesis for $20 and a hug. No. So... this has an RX 580 in it. Thank you very much, Alex. Today I had a planned cheat day, but don't worry. Going right back to the grind some more. It's so funny, though, because I'm so used to not eating. Like, I had homemade pizza made for me, and, like, I used to be able to pound, like, 5 slices. I had, like, 3, and I was still stuffed. I was like, man... And it was so fucking good, too. CPU's a Ryzen 5 2600. Vampire Rockstar. Buying exclusives isn't competition. Those games weren't directly funded by Epic. Why do devs and publishers damage control and continue to attack customers when they sign a deal with Epic? I only am bothered by it when Vampire Rockstar, thank you for the super chat, when a game was on Steam and they pull it from Steam and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, sucks for you. Now you can't get the game on Steam anymore. Or if you were a backer of something and the reason you backed it was because it was going on Steam, then, you know, that's the reason you financially supported it. Then they pull it from Steam and do some kind of exclusivity deal. That shit drives me batshit crazy. So, but in terms of them getting, whether they buy them or not, if it was never planned to be on Steam or never announced to be on Steam, I'm okay with that. You may disagree, but I'm okay with that. I don't hate Epic. I just don't like them pulling games from Steam. When a game was already on Steam, or when it was promised through a Kickstarter backer to be on Steam, you know, that's the shit that pisses me off. It's not... Why, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm doing... Like, right now I just downloaded a bunch of games onto that 4 terabyte hard drive, which I will not plug into this port. So I could benchmark them on here. I'm going to hook up to this TV to my bedroom. I'm going to hook up this TV. I'm going to hook up this computer in my bedroom so I can run a bunch of benchmarks and use it and really get, you know, sink my teeth into it. It does get annoying when you have a whole bunch of different clients, because now I've downloaded all my games on Steam and it's like, oh wait, I wanted to benchmark that way. Now I got to download Origin. Now I got to download what the hell is Ubisoft's, I can't think of it right now, Ubisoft's client, which I have games in there that's I'm gonna have to download. Then I have to download Epic Game Store, and it does get frustrating. But it's what's wrong with this port? I don't know. It works. It recognizes stuff when you plug it in, but any kind of high bandwidth, like if you plug in an SSD or something, it corrupted my SSD. I had to reformat it. And it's not my connection to the motherboard. For guys who don't know, the USB 3 header on a motherboard, you can't screw it up. I mean, I guess if you want to pile drive it in, but it goes in. There's a good solid firm click. You're done. It can only be put in one way. So you either plugged it in or you didn't. recognizes stuff. I mean, I could plug a mouse into it or something. That'll work fine. But if I plug in anything like a hard drive or something, it doesn't work right. I don't get it. There's something wrong with... Could be the motherboard, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's our friend here, Mr. Roswell. No, there isn't any bent pins. It's not bad. It's fairly quiet. It's not a loud machine. Yeah, it's a bad case. It's a bad case. Your 2060 Super is better than a 580. I don't know about a 590, but a 580, I believe it outperforms it. Mark. So Wyatt, there's your answer, man, is that it gets annoying, but at the same time, saying, oh man, I want one company to have a monopoly for my convenience is kind of like, I don't know if I want to say that either. Opinionated Junkie, the clients are bad as long as it's not over 1 gigabyte. I think you mean the clients aren't bad. It's just remembering where all your shit is, man. That drives me crazy. Well, there's one that's supposed to go in the... But here's the thing. Oh yeah, you forgot the other big thing I had to bitch about. In the front, because the way I had to have to keep the cable management better in here, I had to have the drives, the I/O, the SATA I/O of the drives facing... Yes. Hold on 1 second. Facing... I had to have the I/O for the SATA for the power and the data had to face here. So, and because there's so little room in the case, which I've used a bunch of micro ATX cases before and they're fine, they're fine. Where it is, it actually would block where the fan would go. I believe I got to check one other thing. But like I said, I should have the slimline fan I have coming from Noctua should fit here. We'll find out. So I couldn't put a fan in the front even if I want. I think I couldn't put a fan in the front even if I wanted to. I'll look again, maybe if I pry off the bottom. But this case is so fragile. I'm afraid. Like I know you're supposed to be able to pull from here, but there's tabs in there, and the metal on this is so. I don't know how this thing has 4 to 5 stars on Amazon. I'll probably have to try that if the Noctua Slimline fan doesn't work here. So thank you, Adam, for the super chat. Mark, yeah, I would say your 2060 is a little better. JHE Entertainment, DuckTales Remaster got removed from Steam because Capcom's agreement with Disney had expired. Another flaw of digital distribution is if a game is based off of the license expires, it's gone. Yep. There's nothing, I mean, I appreciate the super chat. I totally agree with you. That's one of the fatal flaws, whereas physical copies of games, you know, you could still go and buy DuckTales, buy Capcom for the NES if you find it. They can't pull it off of the mom and pop stores. But that's where gaming's going. I bought that game, so I mean, I'm good, but... So what's up, Joe? Thank you very much, man. Hope you're doing well also. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend a different case. I mean, it's built, it works, it's stable. This case is very flawed. No, it's all right, Joe. It's all good. It's safe to say, the 1060, it's better than. It's funny, I think when they first came out with the 480, which the 580 is a refined version of that, the 1060 actually was outperforming it, but with driver improvements, it did better. Oh, everyone's here, the dog. It's all good, Joe. Yeah, no one was a fan of me streaming on Facebook. Oh yeah, my feet never hurt because I lost weight. It's easier to get up and down, easier to move around. Opinionated Junkie, death to the culture war, more geek stuff. Cable management is actually okay. I mean, I showed the inside of it. It looks all right. I mean, it handles this build fine. You're not overclocking in it. You're not, but for what this is, it's fine. Like, if anything, the 580 is probably holding back the 2600, even at stock speeds. You know what I'm saying? So it's not holding. Buy everything in the build except this case. $2,000. I heard about that. The build is great. The R5 2600, you could overclock it with a better cooler than the one it comes with. You can overclock it to 2600x speeds. The 16 gigs of RAM running at 3000 megahertz. I tightened up the timings. That runs great. The motherboard's good. The MSI the motherboard, the MSI B450M version 2 is good. There's nothing in here. I mean, the storage, you have 2 terabytes of storage, 120 gigabyte SSD. Because I was thinking about cost, man. I got the 2600 for $133. But this case is just so bad. Pisses me off. The one friggin' port in front, the USB 3 doesn't work. There's USB 2s up on top, but it's 2019. That's a good PC, none of your biz, though. That's a good PC. That's a real good PC, man. Don't knock that. 1060 still holding it down, trust me. I was just doing some 1440p gaming and some even 4K gaming with a 1060 with a Core i7 2600. Thank you, Fake Ninja. I don't know exact comparisons, Christopher, about how it compares. I'd have to look at some benchmarks and stuff. I know it's a great chip. $133 for 6 cores and 12 threads is nuts. It's this PC right here. I mean, the case, like I said, it looks nice, but looks aren't everything. It's kind of like with a woman. But you have four USB 3s right on the back here, so it's not the end of the world. Oh, 980 Ti, you're still doing 1080p and 1440p at like medium high settings. Sometimes at 1080p you could go ultra. Yeah, I'm not sure where the Ryzen 5 2600 compares to on the Intel side. Well, the 2.0s work fine. Everything up here, the audio works fine, all the buttons work fine, the power button, reset button, it's just that one USB 3 port. I'll never plug anything into that port again. I don't trust it. I do not trust it. No, I've used like Linux Mint before. Oh yeah, the 1060 destroys a 750 Ti. 750 Ti, I mean, 750 Ti isn't even good for budget builds now. I mean, if you want to have some kind of discrete GPU to have like maybe for like a home theater PC, but that's about it. Yeah, the 960 didn't really age well. It's a very strange card. Oh yeah, the 750 Ti was amazing for its time, especially when it first came out. And like I think it was what 2014 that card first came out. I mean, it was a card that required no external power, just got the power right from and it was like outperforming the Xbox One at the time. But that was over 5 years ago now. But yeah, great machine, terrible case. That's the best way to describe it. If anything, though, it makes me feel better about my PC building skills. Because if I got this thing to work... No, I'm not behind the RTU parody accounts. I even know those still exist. When was that, Jonan 560T? I remember doing the Patreon streams with you, dude. What is in this PC? We got the Bazooka MSI B54 and Bazooka V2 motherboard. Ryzen 5 2600, 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance memory, I believe. Hold on, let me make sure. Running at 3000 megahertz. I made sure to tighten the timings too in the BIOS. Hold on. Yes, Corsair Vengeance. For the GPU, I have a Sapphire Radeon Pulse RX 580. The Windows drive is 120 gigabyte SSD. Storage is a Seagate Barracuda. And the PSU or power supply is a Thermaltake Smart 600 watt 80 plus certified power supply. So yeah, what's funny is there was a strange feature that this Sapphire Radeon 580 has, is that where you put the PCI Express power into, did a little bit of benchmarking, got to do more. It's why I have all the games. I downloaded I got all the games from my Steam account and put it on that 4 terabyte drive, which I'll make sure to plug into the back USB 3s. The hell was I even saying? Totally forgot what the hell I was saying. But well, oh yeah. The 580 has its PCIe power connector recessed into it, like deep down. And if it was, and I'm like thinking that's a weird way to have it, but I'll tell you right now, guess what? If it didn't have it that way, this card, if it had like a normal PCIe power connector where it's just on top and it pokes out, wouldn't have worked in this case. This 580 wouldn't have worked. So that weird design choice they made actually saved this build. Do you not get trolled anymore? Not really. When I do, I just ignore it. Yeah. It's funny because excuse me. Like I have some PCs that were laying around. I did videos on like the Gaben Station and what I was going to do is sequel to the Gaben Station, but honestly now with these Ryzen builds, the one I just filmed yesterday, I can't justify telling people to go out and buy an old Dell computer and gut it and put better parts in it. But I forgot, my dad said to me he had a PC in a closet at their place. And he said to me, he's like, "Hey, Rich, I got one of your computers here." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I found out it was a FX 8350 machine I had with, what the hell was in it? A 1060 with 3 gigabytes. And it had 16 gigs of RAM. I actually, just to see it, because I wanted to see like what the best AMD had to offer in 2016, which 8350 wasn't the best, but it was kind of the close to the best. Like that was their mainstream beefy processor. They had like the 9590, but that was just a overclocked 8350 that required an insane amount of wattage. And yeah, it hasn't aged well. You could game on it still. You could play modern games on it, and they'll play it at like medium and mixed around high settings. But compared to the even the Sandy Bridge, I have another Dell machine. The FX machine wasn't a Dell. It was one I built ages ago, and I forgot about it. The Dell machine has a Intel Core i7 Sandy Bridge 2600, 16 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 1060, not 2060. And it's just plays games so much better than the FX machine. So much better. I mean, the FX could still hold it down and play games, but the Sandy Bridge chip just aged so much better. And it's just amazing. No, it's not an awful card. You can still game on a 1063 gig, but yeah, I am tired, but I'm not going to stream much longer. I'm actually going to hook this up in my bedroom. After this, yesterday was like a 14-hour day, man. I mean, building a PC doesn't take that long, but building and trying to film and doing angles, and then my editor, I sent him the footage. And we had the way we had some of the cords. I had to have like a cord resting on top of my camera, and I thought I had it out of the way of the frame. It's only in like 2 of the 8 shots, but the cord went right in front of the main camera that I'm talking to you on right now. I'm like, God damn it! We tried so hard to pay attention to that. So pissed off, but I mean, at least those shots though, I was building, so mostly you're going to see the 2 top cameras anyway. It's not going to be that camera you're seeing. I'm scratching here. It's like a nervous scratch, and it's making my skin red. I don't have a rash. And I don't know why I look so red on the camera there. My skin's not red at all. I guess you have that build is pretty. You're basically saying I would upgrade to 16 gigs of RAM. See, you need 16 gigs in 2019. 8 gigs isn't enough. I would say upgrade to 16 gigs of DDR4 3000. Try to just get another stick. I don't know, are you running on 1 stick or 2? I'm assuming 2, so you're in dual channel. Upgrade to 16 gigs. Get 2 8 gig sticks. You can keep the same speed. That memory's plenty fast. And I would say upgrade the GPU. For a gaming build, that 2600X, you have plenty of threads and cores to mess around with. I wouldn't upgrade that. $32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, if you're video editing. If you're video editing. No, I'm not touching Google Stadia. I have zero interest in it. Recommend it. What game are you seeing recommending 24 gigs? All the games I see recommend 16. The 580, no. He was saying he has 8. I think he meant his 580 has 8 gigs of RAM. But do you have 8 gigs of system memory too? Because if you have 8 gigs of system memory, I would go up to 16. To go up to the 580, I would say I'd upgrade the GPU too. But Then again, I just put a 580 in here, and the 580 is a beast. So Microsoft Game Pass blows it away. Microsoft Game Pass already makes Stadia irrelevant, and Stadia isn't even out yet. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, with a B350 motherboard, I wouldn't go past like a 3700. Maybe you could get away with a 3800X or 3700X definitely, because I think the 2600X and the 3700X have the same TDP, and you're getting 2 more cores and 4 more threads. So that's a pretty significant jump. 3800X, I think you go up to 105 watt TDP, which, depending on the voltage regulators on your motherboard, with a B350, I know they kind of cut back on that. So you should be careful. I think I would cut it off at a 3700X, but I might be too conservative. Maybe get away with a 3800X. I wouldn't put a. I mean, it'll fit into. It'll fit into the CPU. You could fit the CPU in there, but I wouldn't put a 3900X in the B350 motherboard, even if the BIOS supports it. You'll see smoke coming off the VRM. But yeah, you have a pretty good upgrade path. But 6 cores and 12 threads for gaming right now is beyond good enough. Well, Intel annoys me because if it wasn't for AMD coming back and just like saying, you know, when they came out with Ryzen, they just shook up the industry. If AMD was still screwing up now and Ryzen was a big flop, which it isn't, I'm telling you, they would still be coming out with quad-core high-end processors. Oh, here's the Core i7 9700K with 4 cores, 8 threads, but better IPC. I have an RX 5. Okay, you have 16 gigabytes. I guess really bills and coins. The only thing you need to... You don't need to upgrade anything, actually. But if you're looking to get better gaming performance, I guess the 580. But like I said, I just put a 580 in here. You basically just described the specs, except I have a B450M motherboard. I have the Zen Plus motherboards, I guess you could call them, even though they're all AM4 sockets. I guess the only thing you would need if you want to improve your gaming experience is the GPU. Go to like a 2070 Super or something. Not really a big fan of the new cards from AMD. I have one. They're kind of like, eh. It's so funny, like, oh, it's PCI Express 4.0 compatible, yes! And it's like, but we have like 2080 Ti's that aren't even taking advantage of the full bandwidth of like PCI Express 2.0. Like, why are in a 2080 Ti or even 2080 will smoke the 5700 XT? Smoke it. So who cares the card's PCI Express 4.0? It's not taking advantage of it anyway. But well, it would have only taken a few hours, but you have to understand, between doing camera shots, having to go search for parts because the dumbass case didn't come with the parts, having to go do a whole upload footage, empty out the cards, upload more footage. Then after my film guy was gone, I had to, I ran some benchmarks on it, made sure it was fully updated. It was like a 13-hour day. It's like a 13-hour day. It's nuts, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Message me here. Well, I know, isn't it until 20? So I think the CPUs they release next year would be the last CPUs on the AM4 socket. Who's the guy in the blue shirt? Some fat guy that I know. What's up, Rockawin? Yeah, didn't they say like 110 Celsius? I know it isn't competing with the 2080 Ti, but what I'm saying is they're boasting that the 5700 XT is a PCIe 4 card. Who cares? Like, and I'm saying like they're bragging about it being PCIe 4, Gen 4, when you have like high-end cards for other high-end cards and they aren't even fully utilizing the bandwidth of PCI Express 2.0. What's the difference between YouTube super chats and microtransactions in video games that you and many YouTubers complain about? How is there even a correlation in between the two of them? And like, I don't even, is that even like a real super chat? Like, you're comparing the two things that are night and day difference, and then on top of it, am I even asking for super chats? I don't know, man. Like, that makes no sense. That's like saying, why do you buy mustard when there's pancake syrup? Okay. What the hell does a super chat have to do with a microtransaction? Yeah, but even like I just bought an NVMe drive for my 3900X build that was PCI Express 3.0. Thing's getting like 3500 read and write speeds. I'm assuming it's a joke. There's some people that really despise the super chat thing though. Like, they really hate it. I don't understand it. I mean, I could see if I was here like, please just give me super chats. Then I would be like, all right, that's pretty ridiculous, but it is what it is. What's my opinion on Intel's rumored GPUs? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll pick one up probably out of curiosity. That'll be interesting if Intel becomes a viable player in the graphics card game. I don't know if it's jealousy. I'm not going to say that, but it's, you know, there's just some people who think it's like a mortal sin. Look, I have the super chats there. Yes, I appreciate them, and yes, that is a great thing about streaming. But I never ask for them. I don't pull a Philip Burnell and sit there and make a 45-minute video and making sure that this is why I need donations. Your best bet, if you're looking for something, if you're looking just a game at PHX Bic, is to try to like look on Craigslist or on eBay and get a cheap like either Sandy Bridge i7 or Ivy Bridge. I recommend Ivy Bridge because Ivy Bridge natively supports USB 3.0. You can always slap the PCIe card in there and get USB 3.0. But that's a good way to, I mean, you could do plenty still with an Ivy Bridge machine, man. I could 4K game on the one I have with the 1070 that's in there. I'm so mixed on this new gen of cards because AMD's betting on price and performance. You know, like, hey, we don't care about ray tracing yet with Navi, but we're giving you a good bang for the buck. And then Nvidia is like, oh, we have the ray tracing tech out there. We're future proofing, but you know they're gonna get out of here, baby kitty, baby kitty, baby kitty. Oh. Going to grab a seltzer, guys. Be right back. 1 second. Hey, look. All right, I'm back. James Humphrey is a troll. You go to his channel, there is zero history there. I should have known better. Yes, the cat's name is actually Baby Kitty, for those who are wondering, by the way. He's actually Baby Kitty. So, I'm excited to try this computer. Pissed off about the USB 3 port in the front. I have a hub I could just plop on top. I'll plug into one of the ports. That's fine. I'm not really too concerned about that. Actually, I got a brand new hub right here. I'll show it to you. Oh, yes. Yep, right here. So I'll gain 2 more ports. So it's no big deal. You want to see the inside, Rick? Sure. Not really too much to see, but I'll show it to you. Why not? Put the screws down here so they don't get lost. Top of the motherboard case. I hate losing, especially, let me move the seltzer, so the last thing I want is liquid in the computer. FamCam ASMR just basically nails it. Super chats, thank you for the super chat, by the way, are not obligatory, friendly options to support your favorite creators. Microtransactions are kind of expand a game you'll pay $60 for it. There you go. And they're often much more in your face. And the thing about it too is that I'm not anti. That's why I took that sponsorship from Raid Shadow Legends. If a game is free to play and you spent nothing to try it, and you don't pay $60 up front, fine. But if you pay $60 for a game, and then on top of that, oh, get this, if you want to get this armor, you got to grind for 7 hours. If you want this weapon, you got to do this. If you want this, you got to pay this. That's when microtransactions are. If you make me pay AAA prices to have the same options as a free-to-play game, not having it. But anyway, show you the inside. Not too much to see, but let me open up my screen. I think it's on I think it's on iOS and Android. Yeah. It's actually, I haven't played it recently, but it's not a bad game either. I played some of it. But here it is. Let me close the damn thing down again. But FamCam ASMR, thank you for basically nailing how I feel about Super Chats. If I was constantly bugging people for them, then you could rip me a new one. But here you go. Here is the inside. See how the stupid hard drives are? You have the 2.5 here. You have a 3.5 inch 2 terabyte drive there. Obviously, it's the graphics card. This is the graphics card. There's the CPU behind there with the Wraith cooler, which gets blocked somewhat by the stupid hard drive, which is probably why it gets nice and toasty when I run Ada, but hey, it runs stable and it doesn't actually hit the peak temperature that AMD allows for the CPU. So it ran stable for 10 hours, so I can't complain. And this is a non-modular power supply, and luckily it still has an optical drive. That's why this case looks so neat, because I just shoved all the cables in here, because there's not that much cable managed. There is a little bit in the case's defense, but not that much for those big, thick, with a C cables. So, here you go. Looks pretty good, man. Not too bad looking for a completely terrible case. Horrible case. Horrible, horrible case. Let me go put the top back on it now. Now I'm just hoping that thin Noctua fan I get, or slimline, or whatever they call it, Noctua fan I get actually fits up there. Because that would be where I really want it anyway. On the where the fan is right here, because that I would love for it to pull more air away, hot air away from the CPU. I love OnePlus 7 phones. I do. I hate that everybody now, including Samsung, have gotten away from headphones. Am I dropping frames? Why am I looking so choppy on the stream? Anyway. So I got some... So anyway, FamCam, thank you for explaining that very well. Tanuki Jumpman, what's good? Joe, when do you think Intel CPUs that protect against Spectre variant Meltdown 2 and Meltdown will come out? I don't know. I know that Intel's having a tough time coming out with different fabrication, like the smaller fabrication processes, like the 7. They're not even near 7. What are they hoping to come out with 10 nanometer? What are they, like 14 nanometer, like plus now? So I don't know. Yeah, that was another blow to Intel, too, was all that Spectre and all that other crap. I don't remember exactly what happened with that, but they were like security flaws in the chips. And the sad thing was the only way to remedy them was to hinder the performance of the processors, too. That was pretty crazy. So I don't know, Joe. Be interesting to see what Intel comes out with when they... Who knows, a story in like 2 years, we'll see AMD trying to play catch-up with Intel again. It was patched, but it hurt the performance of the processors. PML call it the underdog. What, the PC? Is that what you mean? Well, that case is no one... I wouldn't wish that... I wouldn't wish that case on a PC builder that was my enemy. I'm not even kidding, I hate it. I can't stand that freaking case, man. Thoughts on the OnePlus 7 Pro. So anyway, well, I love OnePlus 7s. I hate that they took away the headphone jack. The biggest weakness with the 7, and I love how fast their phones charge. I hear the Note 10 almost charges as fast, but I'm angry at, like, first off, I just basically got an S10 Plus, and I actually really like it. I did it in the beginning, but now I do. The camera on that thing is brilliant. And the S10 Plus has a headphone jack. But I do miss the charging speeds of OnePlus phones. Like the warp charging on my OnePlus 6T, like you plugged it in and it was charged. Like, Papi Chulo, thank you. So, what happened with the crappy case? The crappy case, oh, there was a few things with the crappy case. First one was where they put the hard drives, where they wanted you to put the 3.5-inch drive, as water almost spills on my mixer. Where they wanted you to put the 3.5-inch drive actually would have blocked where the GPU is. Secondly, where they have the 120 millimeter fan opening, which is actually right above the CPU where I want it. There's another one I believe in the front, but it ain't gonna do as much. I'll probably put it there. I'll find a way to put it there if I can. But where I really want it is to help cool the CPU. That's blocked by the hard drive now. They didn't include screws to tighten down the GPU. They didn't give enough spacers for or standoffs for the motherboard. I had to find more. And where you put the graphics card in, the PCI Express slots, like the openings in the back, they're breakouts. Like they were like as soft as like chewing gum. It's a bad case. It's a really bad case. But thank you, McLean, for the super chat. The OnePlus 7 Pro is an awesome phone, but the cameras are always the weakest points in the OnePlus phones. Rich's nipples are stellar today, very perky. 500 watts. Well, if you're talking about the 580 in there, the minimum recommended was 500 watts. I always like going over that though. Yeah, the case is terrible, McLean. It's a horrible case. I mean, I'm not going to gut it now. It's in there. Oh, also, McLean, on top of it, too, the front USB port doesn't work properly. I plugged in the USB 3 header. You can't screw up how you plug in the header. You either plug it in right or it doesn't plug in. You plug it in, it clicks in, and that's it. Okay? So, and it either a USB header would either work or it didn't. But I think either the USB port has an issue or the cable that goes to it has an issue because like when you plug things in, they weren't either really slow and it actually corrupted one of my hard drives. My 4 terabyte SSD, it totally corrupted it. $32, but I've gotten cases this cheap before that were fine. This is just a bad case, poorly designed. You could get cheap cases that price that are okay. I don't know any. I haven't looked at them in a long time, but they do exist. They do exist. Time is it? Time is it? Time is it? All right, guys, I'm actually going to go set up this machine and run some benchmarks on it because that's going to be the second part of my video. Thank all you guys who came through. I'm going to go test this bad boy out some more with all the games I have on my external hard drive and see how it performs. I'm curious to see. I will see you guys all tomorrow with some more videos. Have a good one.